Welcome to the Tournament Poker Edge podcast, brought to you by TournamentPokerEdge.com, the only podcast dedicated exclusively to poker tournament strategy. Now here's your host, Clayton Fletcher. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Tournament Poker Edge podcast. My name is Killingbird, and I am here filling in for our very good friend Clayton Fletcher. He is Christmas shopping for all of the listeners. I don't know where he is actually, but he's not here. But I am, and I'm joined by my very good friend aznAllin007. What's up, Marcus?
Not much, bud. It's been a long time since we potted out, so pretty excited.
Yeah, this should be a good time. I'm looking forward to it, especially since we're coming up on the end of the year here, so it's a good time to kind of reflect on what 2019 was from a poker standpoint, and talk a little bit about what we're hoping for 2020. So yeah, what's been happening? How's the gridiron?
I played a couple times live, which has been fun, but it's NFL season, so I do daily fantasy, so during NFL it's way less poker than I'd like. Plus, as you know, we've done the weight loss bet, and I've done like 5 more bets, but one period. So I've done 2 in full. First one with you, one of my cousins, Dip Throng, which you failed. Why don't you tell everyone how you bought out?
Miserably. I could have made it too. I don't remember why exactly I ended up buying out.
No, you could have made it. You had like a month to do 9 pounds, and I gave you a pretty fair buyout.
It was very reasonable.
Buyout. I ended up doing one right after for another 15. And honestly, bro, it's been so hard. I'm like a pound and a half away, and I have to do it by Christmas Eve, which is 12 days away. Yeah, so it's been kind of brutal.
And that's almost kind of worse too, because like you have to maintain it. So it's like, I mean, you could probably get there within a few days, but then you have to like hold on.
No,
for, like, 9 days.
We do it the way we do it, like how you and I did. If you hit, you just send that you hit, and then you can splurge. Because like, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've seen this fucking Pizza Hut commercial with like it's like these garlic knot crust.
Oh, I've seen that. It looks amazing.
Dude, I get like a boner every time I see it. I haven't had pizza in like 7 months, so I'm literally gonna make love to that pizza when I get it. The first thing I'm doing is making love to that pizza, like phone off, candles lit, me and that pizza. And then I'm hitting Taco Bell. Like I've already planned all this shit. Like I'm getting pizza, Taco Bell, like pasta too. Like I am going to destroy pasta. But yeah, so I'm going to continue that going into the new year. And yeah, I'm pumped about that. Losing a lot of weight, so that's good. Nice. But one thing I wanted to talk about was poker goals, because I think most poker players set a goal where, I want to profit $60,000 this year, $70,000. And I don't think that's the worst, but I think a much better goal, and I've said this before on this podcast years ago, volume goals are the way to go. Mm-hmm. You want to set what I would do to the nation out there, I would look at your database, or just think in your head how many tournaments you played, like average per week, figure out how many per year, and just up that, because if you set a volume goal and you're a winning poker player, you're going to make more money. That's just how it works. Your ROI is 50%, 30%, whatever it may be. Shoot, 20% is probably really good right now. Set that goal for like a couple hundred more tournaments, and it forces you to play. You hold yourself accountable. That's the beauty of what we did with the weight loss bets. Like, it's not even the money. It's just, I don't want to lose.
Right.
The money helps, because if there's no money on it, I'm not going to do it. But all it took was putting a bet down. And yeah, I hit my goals. You were close to hitting your goals. I mean, you're different because you work at a brewery. You have to go out a lot. I can just stay at home, wake up, get on the bike, work, cook well, and I'm done. Like, no wife, no kid. I'm
Right.
good. Like, I can be like a hermit. So yeah, I mean, whether the nation needs to bet their friends, I mean, if you have poker buddies, just bet them. Set a goal and be like, okay, let's do this. If we both hit it, nobody pays. And yeah, I think that's the best way to get better, to make more money. And you don't want to stress about profit, because I did that with that's in 2014. God, that's a long time ago. With the SharkScope leaderboard, like, I was just obsessed with being atop that, and I should have just set a volume goal, because I would have made more money.
Yeah. Especially because then if you're running poorly or whatever, like halfway through the year, you're just gonna start like playing poorly because you're chasing the wrong number, you know?
Excellent point. You're going to be like up 20,000 maybe halfway through the year, needing 60,000. You're going to think playing higher is a good way to get that goal done. You're going to start playing worse, as you said. So yeah, just set the volume goal, and you can deal with the swings way easier. Like, you're just like, okay, I got to play 2,000 tournaments, 4,000 tournaments this year, whatever it is. You're not going to be stressing as much when you're on these downswings, and you're going to be able to play your A game as much as you can.
Yeah.
One of the things in my career where I took a turn for the better was I played my A game, even my B plus game, way more often than I ever played my D game. When you're playing your D game, you're just shit. Your C game, you're trash. You're burning money.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, any way we can avoid doing that. And I'm telling you, most people, it's always the profit goal. Like, oh, I want to make X amount of dollars this year. And it sucks. Like, I don't believe that we need to do it in January. Like, it should just be, you could do it in June and just set it for like 6 months, whatever. It doesn't matter. But we're humans, and like New Year's, and I kind of liked always doing it January just because of the tax season.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, time's meaningless. You know, what's January 1st versus April 1st?
Yeah, you could probably even do it like monthly if you wanted. Like, just say, okay, January I'm going to play X number of tournaments, and then you can always reevaluate that if you find that you set it too low or too high. Although, I don't know, maybe that's too easy of an out.
No, I think that's good as long as you're setting a goal every month for just X amount of tournaments. Or sit and goes or whatever, hands of cash. I just think these profit goals end up hurting the player.
Yeah, they're like a trap.
Yeah, they really are.
The other thing I would say, too, in terms of setting some year, well, I was going to say year end, but I guess beginning of year goals, is just setting an amount of study time. Or for some people, like mental health time, too, like, you know, going back to like,
weight loss stuff, all that stuff is going to help you with poker, whether it's like if you're not exercising right now and you're playing 4 to 5 days a week, traveling a lot, like your goal should be to eat healthy, exercise at least 3 times a week for 40 minutes, and put in like 6 hours of study.
Yeah.
Like that would even be better than the volume goal. Like if you can combine them all, you're just going to be a better player. You're going to feel better. You're going to make more money, play your A game more. I mean, this is all good stuff.
Yeah, and that stuff's a little easier to control for somebody like me, too. Like, volume goals are tough for me because I could find out tomorrow that I have to travel to, like, you know, I don't know, Colorado for some beer stuff or whatever for a week. And it just throws off the whole month, you know? But on that trip, I can still read, study, you know, go over hands in the forum, go for a walk in the morning. I can still do all that even on the road. So,
Chirp, I think we need to put a little bet here, starting January 1st.
Oh no, a volume goal?
No. I think we should do weight loss.
The problem is I'm pretty close to where I want to be now.
Are you? Oh yeah. Well then you're good. I'm still fat as shit. So
because I'm lower than I was when I bought out of the weight loss bet. So I'd probably only really want to lose like another 5 to 10 maybe.
Well, what you and I can do, we can do like an exercise bet for you.
Yeah, I am in the middle of one of those right now. Sort of. I have to walk or run 100 miles in December.
See, that's amazing. That's awesome. That's a good bet. Like what Dipthrong and I do is he has to be Mark Herm on Twitter, Dipthrong. He's he's body fat percentage.
Oh, I've seen him tweeting about that.
Yeah, and so ours was he had to work out X amount of times. We've done no porn bets. No masturbation bets.
I'm out.
Dude, the porn one was good. I actually was like leaving my house.
To go to the strip club?
Yeah. Like Tinder dates and shit. But still, it was good. And then we did, what was it? Oh, we did meditation. We did meditation, weight loss. All these and like you just don't want to lose. And I try to put like an amount of money where I care because I need that. Some people don't. Some people can just do it, like wake up and work out. I'm going to lose 20 pounds in 3 months. Not me. I wouldn't do it 100%. Yeah. And then, like looking back, it's not even about the money. It's just like I don't want to lose the bet.
Right. Yeah, I have to decide what I want to do because I lost the majority of the weight I lost on keto. And then I went off of keto, and it's just been like a struggle. Like now it's like, it used to be like keto, you lose like a pound a day or something. It's ridiculous. And now I'm losing like 0.2 pounds every 4 days or something. It's just like, it's like such a long
we
grind.
could do like workout where you have to go to the gym 3 times a week, and I have to lose 20 pounds in 6 months. And you have to go to the gym 3 days a week for 6 months. Like that would be dreamy for me.
I have been going to the gym. And I've been going probably 3 to 4 days a week, so that might not be bad. 40 minutes of exercise could be it, where you go to the gym once or twice a week, and then 40 minutes of exercise. It's just going to help with everything. Poker, life, great. Especially at our age, our advanced age. It's time to start getting in some kind of shape.
We're getting old, Chirp. You playing any live poker coming up or anything? Any series coming up?
So I thought about going to Cherokee, which just went by, the WSOP circuit stop, but it's right around Thanksgiving. It's just like a tough time because you're like traveling to see family and stuff like that. So I don't know. Like I think, I'm going to Atlantic City for the Super Bowl. So I always play some live poker then, but it's more of like.
What casino?
We usually play at Borgata, and we usually stay at this timeshare that my buddy has. But this year I think we're staying at Harrah's or Caesars or whatever's there. But yeah, we usually end up playing like 2 or 3 birds at Borgata just because they run good tournaments and good structures and all that stuff. So that'll probably be my next live poker until probably the World Series. Which, by the way, they announced the dates for the World Series like 2 days ago. So I
wonder if they're going to do the main on the 4th again.
Yeah, that'll be interesting because I don't think they announced the dates for any specific events. I think they literally just said from this day to this day. I need to figure out that too. What we all do, I guess. Travel plans, when we're going, for what. I'm not really sure what I want to do this year.
When the TPE party is?
Yeah, that's the most important thing, obviously. But yeah, other than that, I haven't really played. It's so hard because I feel like I feel like if I had a casino closer, I would play more. But as I've mentioned on the podcast with Clayton in the past, I lived in Vegas for 9 months and played like 3 live tournaments. So maybe I wouldn't really play that much if I had a casino closer.
I just enjoy online so much more when I play. Like I want to play more tables, see more hands. Live's okay. Like live at the series, I always enjoy, but I've never been like, oh, I'm gonna travel to World. I mean, I did play World Series Europe once. Which was fun, but I was already out there for something else, so in France. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, winning satellites is cool. Like you've gone to Punta Cana, I went to Uruguay, stuff like that's cool. But there's a ton of live birds in the Bay Area, tons.
Yeah, I just need to make another trip out there. We should actually play some poker.
It's too hard. I never see you. I just want to party.
Must go to breweries.
Yeah, right. Oh God. So yeah, I mean, online is just load up 8 tournaments, see you later.
Yeah, and I have the Twitch thing, so that kind of helps keep me motivated to play and stuff. I think if I didn't have that, I would play a lot less. Although I'd probably play better if I didn't have that, maybe. So yeah, I don't know. I never thought I'd become like an online grinder, but I guess I just did on accident.
Yeah, Twitch can be good and bad. The Twitch is good because you're way less likely to punt off. But then, like, you also may be way less likely to bluff because you don't want to look like a dolt when you, like, bluff off your stack or something. I don't know.
Or make, like, a fin call or something.
I certainly couldn't do it because I would just end up tooling out and, like, turning off the stream. Even though I've gotten a lot better.
Can you tilt in DFS? How
I
do
mean,
you punt?
I tilt, but you could punt by playing higher.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But I don't do that. I mean, I didn't do that. I never did that in poker either. I would just punt stacks. I mean, early in my career, I would sit like 1K up to 5K head up sometimes. I remember I used to play Olivier Bousquier head up on full tilt when I tilted, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, dude does this for a fucking living, and I'm like, I would like lose like $700 in Dons after like a 10-hour session and just tool out. It was probably when I was getting cheated. Shout out to Poker Stars at the time who refunded a lot of us, which was great. But yeah, I was just running bad, and I would just tool out and like waste months worth of work playing Olivier Bousquier head up. Not smart.
Yeah, I'm gonna go punt against the best heads up player on the planet.
I mean, I wouldn't even see who it was. I would just sit, and like, I would just like sit like a guy sitting, and like was just a fucking idiot, and I would lose a lot. And I used to play a lot of times when I would come home drunk.
Yeah.
Drunk and just play 1K head ups, like with my buddy watching over the side. I was like, what am I doing? But I got over that, thankfully, because I would be completely busted if I kept doing that.
I can remember doing that back in the day, and that's one thing I don't do anymore. Like, usually now when I come home drunk, I just lay on the couch and watch TV. Much lazier.
I mean, that's been the beauty of the transition for me, though, from poker to playing a lot of DFS, is just the bankroll management, which like a lot of people in daily fantasy don't have.
Right.
I mean, I did that for 12 years when I was playing full-time poker. So I know game selection, stuff like that. I know what to pick. It's a business, same shit. Like, I wish I was as good as I am with Excel now with poker, because I was doing it. I mean, if you looked in my closet, I literally have 20 notepads of like results from day-to-day basis, like figuring out my ROI. This is before like I figured out how to use all the cool stuff like PT4 has of tracking all your shit. I was tracking it by hand.
Yeah.
But it's the best way to do it because you're treating it like a business and you know your hourly, stuff like that. So it makes it easy to pick games, stuff like that.
I would say this is coming from like I play DFS, but obviously not professionally. To me, one of the best things about it would be that you can do all your work. Like, you still have to work, right? You have to bust your ass doing research and running numbers, all that stuff, entering your lineups. But then once the games start, you get to just kick back and drink beer.
Well, that's not true, though. Like, that may be true for you, but that's like, I wish that was the truth. That's not. Like, so, for instance, in NFL, I could play, like, Russell Wilson, for instance, and he's the early game in the morning, and he does shitty. I have 400 head-up contests, and I have to go through them, not individually. I just choose the high buy and stuff. And, like, if someone played a quarterback that went for, like, 30 fantasy points and Russ went for 5, I have to edit to get off a lot of the guys that that I know he'll have similar, because you don't see his lineup. So, no, long story short, like, I wish that was the case. That's not. You have to edit. I mean, some like FanDuel for NBA, it locks, so you're done. You literally put in your lineup and you're done. But DraftKings for NBA, you put in your lineup and you have to edit. I mean, so the other. Now we're going off on a tangent, but whatever. The other week, I had Miles Sanders, and I knew this last weekend, and I knew everyone played Miles Sanders in the Monday night game. And I was down points, so I had to pivot in like 60 contests. And I split it up 3 ways because it was flex position. I went Slayton, Shepard. Slayton in one, Shepard in like 20, Shepard in the other, and then Tate. And Slate crushed. I think he caught 2 touchdowns, had like 100 yards receiving. So I ended up salvaging like $600-700, which was nice. But yeah, long story short, you're wrong.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't really think about the late swap stuff. I got fucked by Miles Sanders, by the way.
Yeah, he cramped up.
He killed me in my season-long fantasy leagues, as did Saquon Barkley. But
season-long fish.
I think I'm quitting it all. I just don't enjoy it anymore.
I feel like most poker players do season-long because the daily fantasy is too much. I don't blame them. Just do the best balls on draft.
Yeah, I'd rather just play like low stakes anything like DFS or best balls or whatever, or then do the season long stuff.
Yeah, it's too much work. You got to do pickup stuff like that, and I'm away.
Yeah, and it's like it's like 16 weeks of work to like lose in the first round of the playoffs. Just can't take the pain anymore. I'm too old for it.
Speaking of 16 weeks, can't wait for you and Casey to give me my 200 for our Niners bet. It's great.
That's right. Hey, the Dolphins can still. No, they can't.
Well, sure. We got some hands to discuss. Let's get back to poker while we're here.
We should probably get into some strat.
We have you want to do the members hand first, or what?
Yeah, let's do that first. Which, full disclosure, I haven't looked at yet, so I might have you walk us through that one.
Nice. So shout out to the members of tournamentpokeredge.com. We have forums for hands, and there was like a good amount for the past month. I was kind of surprised. A lot of people posting hands, and to any of you that aren't taking advantage of that, it's a good spot to get better. I mean, a lot of the pros are in there, and we talk about them on pods sometimes. So
yeah, take advantage, and it's there. You're already a member. It's free, so
yeah,
get in.
Okay, so do you have the hand? I have it here. Why don't you? Let's do your hand first, so I can pull it up. I'll pull it up on TPE, so it's easier. Let's do one of your hands first.
Sure, that works. All right, we're gonna start with a hand from the early stages of a tournament on America's Card Room. So the blinds are starting out at 40-80, and we are on the button. It folds around to us on the button, and we have Ace King of Diamonds.
Ooh, pretty.
We raised to 220, which actually, this won't be a long conversation, but what do you think about raising even bigger in these early stages? Because we're just playing so deep. And
yeah,
I feel like. Yeah, okay, because I feel like we could easily make it like 320 here, and if the big blind has like ace-8 off, he's still gonna call.
Yeah, I don't do that, but like I think it's totally fine, and like there's definitely an argument to be had like to beef up pots pre. I mean, as long as it's your standard, I'm good with it, but I also have no problem keeping the pot small to start, just sizing it differently post flop, like getting them in. I'd rather get them in the hand and then have them make mistakes post flop.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
But I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so we do make it 220. Small blind folds, and the big blind calls. So again, we have Ace King of Diamonds. There's 560 chips in the pot, and the flop comes King Queen Deuce with 2 diamonds. So we pretty much flop the greatest hand of all time.
So this is like a spot where like I would, like, I don't want to scare him off action, but like I don't think like your sizing going half pot versus 3/4 is gonna. I don't think he's gonna call the same shit. Like if he has a queen, I think he's calling. If he has any draw, I think which you block a lot of the draws. Mm-hmm. But yeah, 10 jack, I think would call. Any queen, any king would call like 420 versus the 280 sizing here. So this is a spot where like, yeah, we're nutted. I want to get more chips in the pot now, so I would bet bigger.
Okay. Yeah, so we bet half pot, which is 280, but I kind of agree with you. Like, we could probably just go bigger, because he's either calling or he's not. It feels like one of those situations, anyway.
Maybe, like, the ace-10 folds. The ace-10 is still calling 420. So, like I'm lying.
I'm not even sure, like, do we even scare off, like, ace-deuce? Like, if we bet bigger?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I guess... Well, we do have some information on the villain. We have a lot of hands on him too. His fold to c-bet is 38%, so it doesn't fold much.
Yeah, that's not that high.
So maybe that's another reason that we can go a little bit bigger here. But
he's on the nittier side.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's not Killingbird nitty, but he's nitty. But we do bet half pot, 280 into 560, and the villain calls. And we see the Jack of Diamonds on the turn.
Nutter, butter, tutter.
Yeah, so we have the Ace King of Diamonds. The flop is, or the board is now Queen, Deuce, King, Jack, 3 diamonds. So we have the nuts. And once again, I was going to say once again the villain checks, but he does not. The villain leads for half pot 560 into 1120. We're sitting here with the nuts.
Let's talk about that. What do you think his range is here when he's? So what are you leading here on the turn? When is switch position?
If I'm I might lead all my two pairs that don't. Well, I was gonna say that don't have a diamond.
You should be leading all two pair and sets here because this is a bad card. This is a card a lot of people will check back.
Yeah.
In position, unless they have the nuts like you. So like you should be leading all two pairs and sets and straights. Like if you have 9-10 or ace-10, should be in that. So it's like a pretty nutted range here. This isn't a bluff very often. One of the bluffs it could be is like. If he had like the ace of diamonds and he wanted to see it cheaper, like you'll see guys bet like 400 here with like, say he had like ace deuce with ace of diamonds, like bet 400 isn't a bad idea. To just like keep the pot odds in our favor.
Yeah, it is interesting because I don't see a lot of leading, at least in the tournaments I play on the sites I play, particularly after being bet. Like if I had checked back the flop, I would expect sometimes to see a lead here on the turn, but this is kind of weird. Like I think I agree with you. Like I think this is a pretty nutted hand.
Yeah, I find this to be common with like a nutted hand or like a good hand with like the nutty type draw. But like his sizing makes me not feel that way. Like I feel like people would size it smaller if they were like trying to see a cheap river with like a semi-made hand, like a pair.
Right. Yeah, like you were saying, like ace deuce with the ace of diamonds. Although we have the ace of diamonds, but
yeah, but just so like here, knowing that you need to put in more chips here, like raising here is like a must. Even though you block the nuts, like that makes it more likely he has like a two pair set hand, and we want him to put more money in when he's got the worst hand and he's going to call. Like I think it's very unlikely. We raise here, he's folding a set or two pair. It's like almost 0%.
Right.
And like if he's bluffing here, it's just like a really bad spot to bluff on a bad board. So it's just not believable that he's bluffing. So yeah, I'd punish him here. Like I'd raise fat because I want to get it all.
And if he's bluffing, like I don't know that we get any more out of him on the river anyway. Like
yeah, it's just such a hard spot from the bluff. You're right though. If he is randomly bluffing here, the thing is too like. If he was drawing, like say he had king 10, because the board is queen deuce, king jack, 3 diamonds, turn being the third diamond. He could like lead king 10 with the 10 of diamonds here, which would be the third nut flush draw and an open-ended straight draw. To the perceived nuts, like he could think it's a nuts. So yeah, like he still may call there, and like certainly his two pairs and sets. Maybe not sets. Maybe not two pairs. Some two pairs will fold to a raise here. It's doubtful though, man. But like sets, he's calling for sure. Like this is like a must raise, and like I would punish him. Like I'm trying to get it all. We have 9,500. It's 9,500 effective, and after his bet, there's 1,700 in there. So what if we made it 2K more? If we made it 2K more, that would put 6K in, and there'd be 7K. Yeah, maybe like 2,200 to make like a pot-sized river shove.
Yeah, I like that.
It's like it's absurd early in a tournament, but people make mistakes when you can re-enter. So like, I would be super fucking greedy here.
Yeah, yeah. I think if I had thought more about his range as opposed to just I have this inclination to say, well, I have it. Like I have everything. Like, I don't really want to scare him off. I have top pair. I have the nut flush. He can't really have even ace it. Like, I don't know. You just start, like, talking yourself into getting too tricky. Where if I just said to myself, like, what does he ever lead here with? And we both pretty quickly came to the conclusion that it's sets in two pairs. Or a really strong draw.
Which still may call a big raise.
Yeah.
In fact, probably will. Yeah, I think a lot of people deal with what you're talking about where they want to slow play the nuts, and it can be good in some spots against players that are capable of bluffing and in spots where people are going to be bluffing. This just isn't one of those, so I want to maximize value.
Would you agree that we can lean towards assigning his hand, or sort of giving him more 2 pairs and sets than those draws we were talking about because of cards.
Well, yeah, of course, like the ace blocker, like probably takes out, I mean, and blocking all flushes, like you block the king of diamond flush and like the nut flush. So yeah, like he's definitely more likely to have the 2 pair set type hands. I'm still like, he's going to have some king 10s, maybe queen 10, and those 10 of diamond type hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, just based on his half pot sizing, it feels a little stronger, like more like the 2 pair. Whereas I think like a 400, a 1/3 type sizing would be like a pair and a draw.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm with you. I'm punishing all because he's still gonna call those draws a lot of the times too. So like I want him to make a mistake here, and it's like highly likely he is. This is a spot like just dude, if you don't raise here, think about how much value you lose like throughout the year. Crazy.
Yeah. Agreed in hindsight, but in the heat of the moment, I just called, which I think we both now agree is a mistake. And so now there's 2240 in the pot, which is not nearly enough. We should have made it more. And the queen of spades rolls off on the river. So now we have queen, deuce, king, jack, queen, so pairing the board. And of course, we still have the 3 diamonds out there. And villain leads again for half pot, 1120 into 2240. So now, based on everything that we talked about in terms of what we're assigning him in terms of his range, what are we thinking when we see this lead?
Well, he can still have, I mean, he blocks ace queen, probably 3 bets ace queen, so he can still have trip queens, queen 10. He can still have 2 pairs now, like king 10, random jack 10s. I'm still going to raise. I'm just going to raise, and then I'm going to fold, do a shove. Like, I'm still definitely going to raise because I want to get some value if we do choose the slow play. But, like, you have to be really good here. I mean, your raise sizing should just be pot, like, what is there, roughly 3K now. I would just make it 3K, and if he shoves, you have 6K back. You just fold and move on. This isn't a spot, like, even in a re-entry, I'm not going to make a mistake here. And it sucks if, like, he showed, like, the 5-9 of diamonds for, like, a worse flush. But, like, I don't know. He's a 25-13-4 BPIP PFR. He's not going to be bluffing too often here. So I'm definitely raising for value and folding to any other action.
Well, I got the first part right.
Yeah, perfect sizing, too. It's pot. Like, this is perfect sizing.
Yeah, so we make it 3360.
I mean, dude, just think of how many big blinds you have back, too. Where, like, you have over 100 back. Like, there's no need to punt here. Like, even though, like, it would be not thinking, I can have 20K.
Right.
He's just not bluffing here. Ever, if he jams. If he jams, he's just not bluffing.
Right, because he only, like, even if he has, like, ace-queen, he just calls.
With his stats, yes. If we didn't have these stats, it becomes a much more interesting conversation. Because then we could assume he's a fish and be like, fuck it, I'll just re-enter. And that's okay to me. Like, if I don't know anyone online and some guy shoves here, like, I think he can have worse flushes. Which, like, we didn't even talk about on the turn, his lead. I would be leading a flush there, too. It's a big mistake on my part not to mention that. Like, if I had a flush on the turn, I would be leading 100% of the time.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, too.
Yeah, because it's a bad card for the opener that he'll check back, like, all his one-pair type hands, and he probably won't fold into a lead. So I'm leading all the nuts, ace-10, all that shit. So, yeah. But still, I don't think he's going to – this particular player is not going to jam a jack or a – what would be the 10 high flush is the only one he could have. He's definitely not going to jam a 10 high flush on a paired board when we're raising the river.
Right.
This specific opponent.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so we do, as I said, we do put in the raise. Villain shoves, and this is where I guess we probably make our biggest mistake of the hand.
Yeah.
We don't fold.
Like, against this opponent, yes. This can be a call versus others, but when you have the HUD stats, use them.
Yeah. And it's worth mentioning that in these hand histories they don't show the buy-in, so I don't know what this is. But based on what I generally play on that night, I'm guessing it was like an $11 or a $22 tournament. So if this was like a $2 bird or something, or like my home game, like
Well,
which is
even
free.
if this was a $2 bird and I saw his stats, I would still fold.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, I don't want to be. I don't want. Yeah, I don't want to be persuaded by the buy. Like, I think the buy-in is a good. If you had no read on the guy in a $2 tournament, I'm snapping, breaking my hand, beating him into the pot somehow online. Like, but yeah, with the information we have, it wouldn't matter the buy-in for me.
Yeah, good point. So we call, and he has Queen Jack off for the full river full house.
I like how he played the hand.
The good news is we were left with 20 chips, so that's 1/4 of a big blind, and chip in a chair, like they always say.
Yeah, I think a lot of players will make the same mistake you made here, so I think this was a really good hand to choose. But now I want to go over folding aces pre-yo. Tournament Poker Edge member since September 14th, 2014, man. Shout out to him. Okay, 888 Poker Tournament. The blinds are 1,500, 3,000. We are in seat 6. It folds to us. Oh, wait. Yeah, folds to us. Where is seat 6, Chirp? Help me out here.
Yeah, I'm not used to looking at these 888 hand histories.
It's middle position. It's middle, or under the gun. Yeah, it's middle position. So we have ace, ace of spades, ace of diamonds, and we min raise to 6,000. It folds. Where's when the shit's at this shirt? So seat 10 calls, and then the button calls 6K, and the big blind calls. The button has 89,000 at 3,000 big blind. And Peace Angel has us all covered with 182,000. So we're still really deep, actually.
Yeah.
So 3-way to the flop, ace of spades, ace of diamonds. The flop comes king of diamonds, 3 of clubs, 3 of spades. So the big blind checks to you, Chirp. I don't want you to look. I want you to play the hand. You can look here, but don't.
I will say that I haven't looked past the action.
Okay, yeah. Good.
So I'll move it off the screen now.
Yeah, KB and I can see his screen, so he's not looking now. So the flop is king of diamonds, 3 of clubs, 3 of spades. The big blind checks. It's to us. We have one player behind us on the button. I mean, pretty easy spot here.
I think it's kind of a sexy spot to check.
I'd be okay with that, but I think that's fine too. I think the big blind has some king, or the small blind. It was the small blind that called, not the big blind. Jesus. Yeah, I apologize. So the big blind calls, small blind. Fuck me. The button calls, the small blind calls, big blind actually folds, getting a ridiculous price. So small blind checks. It's to us. You're saying check. I think that's okay. I would bet though, because small blind can have a lot of those middling pocket pairs, like 7s and 8s, and I want to get value from those. A lot of king X on the button, which you're going to argue they'll bet, which is true. I don't hate it. I'm betting, but like I'm probably betting like, unless I had some read on button where like his bet versus miss C bet was really high, I'm going to bet. But yeah, I think checking's fine. Why do you like checking more than betting?
I just think it's one of those boards where like we have so many more kings than them. Although I do agree with you that the button is going to have a fair number.
I would be way more likely to check ace king here than aces, because the small blind's going to have less king X because we block one.
We block it. Yeah, that's a fair point. And there's just like there's really no turns that we were afraid of. The board's rainbow, so it's like the safest board of all time. But maybe we could just lead like small, like really small, or bet really small. I shouldn't say lead. Like what are you thinking sizing wise? Like 2,500 or something?
So
Oh no,
six.
sorry. I'm looking at just there's like 35K in there. So I'm thinking like quarter pot to third
Yeah,
pot.
I would bet small, like one third for sure. Quarter is fine. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I like both. Um,
So we do check here.
maybe
Villain does check.
maybe heads up. I would like checking more now that I think about it. I think with two villains, there's just more like we're likely to get a call, more likely to get a call from somebody. I guess.
Again, I think it's fine. I just don't. I don't. I guess I prefer betting slightly more, but yeah, I'm not opposed to checking at all.
Yeah. So we can go either way.
So Peace Angel in the small blind checks. It's to us. London Ace. We check. We take the KB line, and it's to the villain on the button, who bets 8,400, which is 612. Yeah, it's 612, 18. It's a little more than a third. Not half, though. So, to the small blind, who calls, and we just call.
I do like just calling here. I think that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
like, as played, like, this is, like, looking awesome. The turn is the 8 of diamonds. Small blind checks. We check again. Button checks.
I would say that if we had bet flop, I would want to bet again here, I think. But I think because we checked the flop as played, I think we need to check again. What do you think?
Yeah, it's just like the button's not going to bluff again, that's for sure.
Yeah. And if he's not bluffing, then he has a king, and he's not folding if we bet. So
Yeah,
maybe-
and like the small blind probably has a lot of kings. Like the thing is, we'll get there later, but we'll get to ranges on the river because I feel like it becomes more important, even though we could have ranged them before. Yeah, I mean, so the button still can have kings, but like if he had king queen, he probably bets again. But he's probably a little bit worried about the small blind having like ace 3 suited, because that's definitely in a small blind flatting range, especially when we're going multi-way. He assumes it's going to go 4-way. Ace 3 suited would be a fine call. I'm not sure how many other threes he has, like maybe 3-4 suited, but kind of unlikely.
Yeah, that might be about
So
it.
yeah, I mean, I mean, as played checking flop, I'm gonna bet here and try to get value. I'm not like worried about a 3 at all. In fact, I don't think the button has any threes. I'll say that.
Yep, I would agree. I think small blind is the only one we have to worry about having a 3.
Yeah, but we have aces, so like we block all those threes. Like he doesn't have many other threes.
That's a good
That's crucial.
point. Yeah, it's a very
That's
good
crucial,
point.
Crucial.
I'd
So
say like
it's-
I'd say like 3-4 is the main one. Maybe no, I don't think deuce 3.
No, I don't think there's 3 either. I think 3-4 is a possibility, but unlikely.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So we check again and the button checks. So like we've now turned in aces to it's not looking good for us making as much as we want. The river peels off a 4 of spades, so there's no flushes, there's no nothing. There was a flush draw on the turn, diamond draw, which is another reason to bet. Nothing on the river, so king 3-3-8-4. The small blind leads 15K to us. What are you doing, Chirp? King 3-3-4-8 or 8-4. No action on the turn.
So the weird thing here is that there's no draws for him to have missed.
Correct.
So it's like he has a king of some sort. I mean, maybe sometimes 2 of them, I guess. He has a 3, or he's bluffing. So I guess
And there's roughly 50K in the pot, mind you, too.
yeah, and I think like this looks like a really value-y bet. And my concern too is that like if he has a bluff, like if he just has some random bluff, I mean we've decided there's no missed draws, but let's just say he has some random bluff. He's just gonna fold when we raise. So really, the only thing we really get value from.
Does he have a bluff though?
I don't think so, but let's
three-way, it's like impossible to have a bluff here.
Yeah, let's say 5% of the time he has a bluff, and I'm not even sure he has it that often.
Yeah, neither am I, exactly. Especially with this sizing, like, what bluff could he have to float the flop and now bluff into two people? It's like, it's almost 0%.
Yeah. So he's virtually never bluffing. So I guess the thing we have to decide is, like, how often does he have King X that we get value from, and how often does he just have, like, the nuts? Like, ace.
I mean, he's betting roughly a third pot here. So let me ask you here. If you have a 3 here, you're going to bet a third pot when the button bet the flop, we called, and the other initial opener called. Like, I guess our range is probably like jacks and tens and stuff, so like maybe a third bet is like pretty good sizing for 3. For trips, yeah, I mean, I think his sizing is fine with trips now that I think about it, because like his value target range, like, we can have tens and stuff. So, like, he's targeting our hand to be those middling pairs that still may call, that probably don't call, like, 3/4 or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, so it still could be value. I just don't think it's ever going to be a bluff, which kind of makes me think we should just never raise.
Yeah, so it's never a bluff. We can agree there. It's never a bluff.
But it is King X a lot.
Way more than 3x.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
You have to think about it.
Especially since we've eliminated ace 3.
We block ace 3, and I don't think he has 3/4. So, like, not raising this river as played seems bad.
Yeah.
Now, so on the river, we started the hand with 145,000, 6 and 8, 14. So we have 130. Peace Angel has 182 to start the hand. So I'm getting value here. I'm just going to fold. I'm going to make it. And the thing is, too, that we need to talk about before I say this. If we raise here, are we getting called by King X? And the answer to that is maybe.
Right.
It's very unlikely we're going to be bluffing, but like it kind of depends on the small blind strength of King X. I would weigh the King, Queen, King, Jack like to be like a heavy part of his King X range. So I think King, Queen calls sometimes. So I would size it. He leads 15K. I would size it like 35, 40, which like looks super nutty. But I'm not going to and I'm going to fold if he raises again. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just done. But I don't want to miss out on value when I think we can still get it. Especially when I don't think he has a. Like, the only reason to me calling here could make sense is if he thought the button would overcall.
Right.
But that seems kind of unlikely to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with you on the raise.
mean, if you eliminate the 3x, a lot of the threes, like. And, like, even if he has a 3, like, we're missing out on so much value if we don't raise here. Like, especially, like, given I don't know this opponent. I don't know the buy-in. And he's so deep. Like, he might just be like, oh, I have, like, 15K to throw away. Like, I mean, I doubt he thinks we're ever going to bluff here, but maybe we're bluffing. Or maybe we're value betting a worse hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess there's not a ton of them for us to have. Ace King. I'm trying to think of like his perception of what we have if he has Ace, King Queen or King Jack.
Queen, King Jack, yeah, King Queen, King Jack.
Yeah.
You can have King 10 too. So we just call button folds, and I'm not going to tell them what they have yet. So let's just talk. I want to go through some of the questions. Folding aces pre-EO had. So the first thing he says is, "Hey all, I have no idea what I was doing post flop. But I don't like it. I was, like, so scared that villain could have 3x. Anyhow, let's break it down." So, we've already talked about that. A lot of the 3x's in a small blind's calling range here are going to be ace 3. You block that, so eliminate it. 3/4 is a possibility, but it's just not that likely.
Yeah.
On the flop, this is villain. Oh, go ahead, Derek.
I was just going to say, I think this is to that specific question, this is a good example, similar to what we were talking about earlier, where in the moment it's really easy to be like, I mean, he could have a three, he could have a three. He's betting into three people or two people. He could have a three, but then when you like sit down later and you break it down and think about, okay, what can he really have here? Especially when you can eliminate a bunch of the ace threes because we have two aces. It's like, but I think it's important to realize that like hindsight's so much easier than in the moment. You know?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and Villain goes on to talk about it, saying betting versus checking are both good options, which we agreed upon. And there's no scare cards, which you mentioned. So I think, yeah, flop, betting, checking, fine. He goes on to say, as for turn, I think, again, checking is fine again. Villain could obviously bet King X and maybe even try to stab at it as a bluff. I guess he could have 3X. The button, no. Ace 3 should be 3-betting the button if he's going to play it. And then, yeah, I think Villain would... I think the small blind Villain would probably lead a lot of his 3Xs on the turn. Agree or disagree?
I think I agree. Once you get two callers,
or once he calls and then the other guy overcalls, yeah.
Because now it's just like such a high chance that somebody has a king.
Yeah.
So
I think the only real mistake here is the turn is interesting. I'm fine checking the turn as well. I'd slightly lean betting because I want to get more chips in the pot, especially when the small blind is as deep as he is, and I don't think he has a 3 because of the ace 3. The key here is the 3 blocker. Like, okay, so let's change the hand to us having kings, and the flop is queen 3-3. All of a sudden, everything changes now because ace 3 is in his range. Where, like, now we've eliminated 2 aces when we have aces. Like, it's so different where I would play the hand so much more passive with not having that blocker.
Yeah, it's a great
where
point.
It literally changes what we do on the river. So, yeah, I think raising the river is best. For reasons already explained. Good hand.
I think it's the only significant mistake, though. Like I think everything else is pretty close. Like the turn check's pretty close.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think the turn check, like king queen on the button, which is like a huge chunk of the button's flatting range, is going to be king X. Like think about all the hands you're flatting on the button are like 7s to 10s, and then like the king queens, stuff like that. Like obviously if the button has queen jack, he's just done with the hand now. Like he took a stab on the flop, missed. He's done. He's not gonna bluff again. So like checking is fine, just praying he has a king X. And it gives us more information on the small line. I slightly lean betting, but again, yeah, the only mistake I see is the river. I think we should be raising the river. But other than that, I thought this pocket aces Yo played pretty well.
Yeah. Did he mention his reason for just calling the river? I guess just the fact that he was scared of the.
I mean, basically. I think it's just that he was worried about a 3 because he mentions that in the first post. And the truth is I think if you really think about his range, like we've already talked about it, but yeah, he doesn't have many 3s.
Plus, like, it's so much better to raise the river with aces because you can always just complain to your friends that you had aces and that you lost. The number of times I've like busted a tournament by making a play with aces I shouldn't have because it's just the easier one to cry about is a lot. It's like, well, if I had aces, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I run so bad.
I mean, you just got to make sure you're good enough like you weren't earlier to raise fold.
Yeah, exactly. And I know, like, you're saying that seriously too. Like, I rarely raise full, like, on the river. Like, I'm a nit, so like if I raise, I have something really good, and I can't bring myself to fold most of the time.
Yeah,
and it's frustrating, but man, sometimes the story just adds up. Like,
the truth is, though, there's a lot of hands I've gone over yours. Like, I feel like I'm a master of your game. I don't think you could ever fuck with me if we played, because I know you inside and out.
That's true.
I really do. It's like the number one person I've studied.
It'd be so fun to play like heads up.
I used to like eat, breathe, and sleep Mark Dew back in the day. This guy played against him so much. Yeah. That's like... Back to your old hand histories. I've seen you call here and be good, and that's why you do it, because you are good a lot of the times here. I bet if we went through your database and all the races on the river, like, I would bet you were usually beat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, unless, like, all the times you didn't have the stone nuts, I bet you would be beat more often than not.
Yeah.
So yeah,
right.
get better, Chirp. Fuck.
Yeah. By the way, I do want to mention one thing that I mentioned on to Mark before this series started, because we were looking at ace hands in my database because of this ace hand. And I was joking with Mark because people always complain about how they always lose with aces, how they lost with aces 7 times in a row, and the site's rigged, blah, blah, blah. Every ace hand in my database, I won.
So insane.
It's like I have aces like 18 times, and I won every hand. It's like, I don't know if I'm just running really good. And that's in like the last week, by the way, not like for the history of having aces.
I mean, how many times do you fucking get aces in a week? Jesus Christ, sure.
I talked to Phil Nagy at ACR. He takes care of me. Oh, man. Well, that was cool, man. I think we should probably wrap it up there.
All right, Chirpy.
But I enjoyed hanging out with you again, talking a little poker. And I do want to take this opportunity, because it'll probably be the last time I'm on here before Christmas, to just wish everybody happy holidays and happy New Year. If you guys are putting together some New Year resolutions with regards to poker or, health, stuff like that, post in the forum or tweet at me and Mark or whatever. Just let us know what you're working on so we can sweat with you.
Sorry to interrupt. If anyone posts in the forums about New Year's resolution, I will respond. If you don't, tweet at me too, at Mark Alioto. Search me, Mark Alioto, to be AZN aznAllin007. And yeah, any questions about New Year's resolution, stuff like that, I'm all ears and I'll answer them all. So
yeah, in fact, what I'll do is after we're done recording, I'll go in and create a thread for like 2020 goals, so that people can actually go in there and that way all year we can kind of keep track. Like, we can bust people's balls. Like, hey, why aren't you at the gym right now, KB?
Mark, you're still fat as fuck.
Mark, stop betting on sports. Derek, stop eating fucking pizza and drinking beer every night.
That would be the death of me if I had to do that.
To not bet on sports.
I mean, whatever. Not to toot my own horn. I actually make money betting sports.
It's because you follow my Central Michigan tips.
I mean, yeah, of course.
Except last week. In the MAC Championship.
Chippies!
By the way, I'm traveling to the Bahamas to see the Charlotte 49ers play in their bowl game, and sometimes when I do stuff like this, Mark bets on that team because he feels like it's like just destiny. Don't bet on the Charlotte 49ers this week.
Well, I'll take them with the spread. I'm taking them now. So everyone bet them and just bash Derek when they don't cover.
All right, we'll see what happens. I might actually bet on them, but I don't want to be responsible because I don't know. It's the Charlotte 49ers.
How did they make a bowl game? They used to be trash.
I know. First time in team history that they're in the bowl game. No way I can miss it. So yeah, that's it. Next week, your boy Clayton will be back with all of you, so you won't have to listen to me and Mark babble on. But we definitely enjoyed being here, and we really appreciate you guys listening to the Tournament Poker Edge podcast. Cheers, everyone.
Peace.
Hold them like they do in Texas, please. Fold them, let them hit me, raise it, baby, stay with me. Luck and intuition, play the cards with babes to start. And after she's been hooked, I'll play the one that's on her heart. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll get her heart, show her what I got. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll get her heart, show her what I got. Can't read mine, no she can't read a mile. Poker face, she's got to love nobody. Can't read mine, no she can't read a mile. Poker face, she's got to love nobody. Poker face, poker face. Poker face, poker face. I wanna roll with her, a hard pair we will be. While little gambling is fun when you're with me. Russian roulette is not the same without a gun. And baby, when it's loving, it's not rough, it isn't fun. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll get her heart, show her what I got. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'll get her heart, show her what I got. Can't read mine, no, she can't read my poker face. She's got to love nobody. Can't read mine, no, she can't read my poker face. She's got to love nobody. Poker face, poker face. Poker face, poker face. Can't read mine, no, she can't read my poker face. She's got to love nobody. Can't read mine,